Can you believe this statistic? Over 70% of people who act out of jealousy and malice toward others end up facing consequences so severe they never saw coming. Is that just a coincidence? Or is it a spiritual order we can't fully comprehend? Today, let's talk about the laws of divine justice. These are not just important markers of conventional religious awareness, but also deeply rooted in the principles of cause and effect, reflecting how the universe has been operating for centuries. So before we continue with the video and explore this interesting topic further, don't forget to like, subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel to stay updated on everything related to personal and spiritual growth. The chosen ones are not like everyone else. They are marked with a divine purpose, carrying an invisible shield that sets them apart from the crowd. This mark is not something you can see, but its effects are undeniable. It is a spiritual protection, a force that surrounds them and guards them from the forces of darkness. Those who oppose them, often blinded by their own pride and arrogance, believe that their power, whether it's influence, wealth, or connections, can outmatch destiny. They think they can manipulate or control the situation, using their worldly strengths to defeat the chosen ones. But here's the truth: no human power, no amount of manipulation, can override what God has already ordained. This is where they make their fatal mistake. The enemies of the chosen ones do not just underestimate the individuals themselves. They fail to acknowledge the immense spiritual forces backing them. What they don't understand is that this is not a battle of flesh and blood. It is a spiritual war, fought on a much higher plane. The chosen ones are protected by powers that cannot be seen with human eyes, forces that transcend mere physical might or influence. These enemies are fighting against something far greater than they could ever comprehend. What makes this battle even more misleading is that the chosen ones often appear vulnerable. They may seem like easy targets, appearing calm and composed in the face of adversity. Their silence is often mistaken for surrender, and their restraint misinterpreted as weakness. But what the enemies fail to grasp is that this calmness is not weakness. It is the divine strategy at play. The chosen ones do not need to fight back because they are already protected by a higher power. The battle has never truly been theirs to fight. It has always been in God's hands. By the time the enemies realize their grave error, it is often too late. Their plans begin to unravel, their power slips through their fingers, and the consequences of their actions are set into motion. Divine justice takes its course, and it is unstoppable. When God is fighting for the chosen, there is no way for anyone to defeat them. What they fail to understand is that you can never truly win against someone who has the Almighty on their side. The divine boomerang effect of justice is both precise and inevitable. When people plot harm against the chosen ones, they unknowingly set the stage for their own downfall. Every lie they tell, every trap they set, and every underhanded scheme they devise is like a boomerang thrown with force. It always circles back and strikes the one who sent it. This isn't just karma at play. It's a spiritual law that operates in the unseen realm. The forces of the universe are aligned to ensure that those who act with malice toward the chosen ones will inevitably face the consequences of their actions, and often, in ways they never anticipated. The beauty of this divine justice is that the chosen ones don't even have to lift a finger. They don't need to engage in petty battles or retaliate in the way their enemies expect. In fact, their silence is often louder than any response they could give. While their enemies may believe they are winning, they fail to realize that every malicious act they commit against the chosen ones is digging a deeper hole for themselves. It's as if they are digging a grave for their own success, unaware that their own hands will bury them. Divine justice works in ways that are often hidden from human sight, and what's truly powerful about it is that it doesn't simply return harm, it amplifies it. The consequences for those who plot against the chosen ones are not just a small inconvenience or a temporary setback. They hit at the core of their being. Whether it's their reputation, relationships, wealth, or even their freedom, divine justice ensures that the harm they sought to inflict comes back to them with greater intensity. This is not some random event. This is the law of the universe unfolding, and there is no escape. Meanwhile, the chosen ones continue to rise, untouched and unshaken by the efforts of their enemies. They move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that they are protected and guided by forces beyond human understanding. Their path is clear, their purpose unwavering, while those who set out to harm them face the consequences of their own actions. In the end, it's always the chosen ones who prevail, as the divine boomerang of justice inevitably returns to its rightful target. Ego is a powerful weapon, but it's also a double-edged sword. For the enemies of the chosen ones, their ego becomes their greatest weakness. They grow intoxicated by their own sense of power, believing that their wealth, status, or connections make them untouchable. In their eyes, they hold the upper hand, and no one can challenge them. But what they fail to realize is that ego blinds them to the bigger picture. It clouds their judgment, making them believe they are invincible, while in reality, it is their ego that will lead to their downfall. When someone is chosen, their life is guided by divine forces that orchestrate their path with purpose and protection. The chosen ones may face struggles, but these aren't signs of weakness. Instead, they are opportunities for growth, learning, and the development of inner strength. But the enemies of the chosen ones misinterpret these challenges as vulnerability. They view the chosen one's calmness in the face of adversity as a chance to strike, thinking they can exploit what they perceive as an opening. Their arrogance leads them to overreach, believing that they can control the situation to their advantage. However, it is in this very arrogance that their downfall begins. The more they try to manipulate the situation, the more they expose themselves to the inevitable consequences of their actions. Divine justice doesn't just correct, it humbles. The universe has a way of ensuring that those who operate from a place of pride and arrogance are brought to their knees. What they once considered their greatest strength, their power, their influence, begins to unravel. Their carefully constructed image, built on a foundation of ego, crumbles. The truth comes to light, and their once untouchable status begins to slip away. The irony of it all? The chosen ones don't even have to fight back. They don't need to engage in a battle or seek revenge. Their enemy's own actions, driven by ego, are their undoing. The enemies destroy themselves, and the chosen ones, protected by divine forces, continue to rise, untouched by the chaos around them. It is a reminder that when you are guided by a higher purpose, no amount of ego or arrogance can stand in the way. When the wicked find themselves behind bars, it's never just about physical imprisonment. It's far more than that. It's a divine stage, set by God to demonstrate His unmatched ability to bring down the proud and the arrogant. For those who have lived by lies, manipulation, and oppression, the jail cell becomes a mirror. It forces them to face the truth about their actions, their choices, and the lives they've destroyed. Behind those cold iron bars, they are no longer in control. They are made to confront the consequences of their own deeds. This isn't simply a fall from grace, it's a reckoning. It is a moment where everything they've built, through deceit and cruelty, crumbles. Imprisonment becomes a public lesson, a vivid example of what happens when someone chooses to defy divine authority and harm the chosen ones. While the wicked struggle with the weight of their regrets and guilt, the chosen ones continue their ascent, untouched by the chaos and pain their enemies have caused. The chosen ones remain unaffected because they are shielded by a higher power, moving steadily forward in the path that has been laid out for them. The prison cell isn't just a physical space of confinement. It is the stage where God makes a powerful statement. It is His way of showing the world that no amount of human power, no level of influence, or any plot to harm the righteous can stand against the force of divine justice. While the wicked may believe they can escape accountability, God ensures that their actions are met with the perfect timing of justice. In this divine spectacle, it becomes clear, those who think they can defy God and oppress His chosen servants will eventually face the consequences. For the chosen ones, there is no need for vengeance or retaliation. Divine justice takes care of it all. The wicked may believe they've won in the short term, but behind the walls of their self-made prison, they are exposed for all to see. Meanwhile, the chosen ones continue to rise and thrive, unharmed by the chaos around them. It's a powerful reminder that when God's protection surrounds you, no human power can ever defeat you. When enemies set out to destroy a chosen one, they often envision a complete and utter downfall. They believe their plans, whether through deceit, manipulation, or force, will result in the total annihilation of the one they target. However, what they fail to understand is that God will not allow His chosen to be destroyed. No matter how elaborate the schemes or how ruthless the tactics, every effort to take them down is doomed to fail. The chosen ones are protected by a divine shield, one that actively works against any harm and renders the enemy's efforts powerless. The enemies may think they have the upper hand, but one by one, their plans begin to implode. The lies they spread start to unravel, exposing the truth for all to see. The alliances they so carefully crafted begin to crumble under the weight of their own deceit. Strategies that seemed foolproof fall apart, and their entire foundation of power starts to erode. It's as if the universe itself conspires to ensure that every move they make is turned against them. Frustration sets in as the enemies find themselves powerless, unable to comprehend why their strength, their influence, and their resources are useless against the will of God. They wonder why, despite their best efforts, nothing seems to work. The more they push, the further they fall. And in their failure, they provide undeniable testimony to God's overwhelming power. Each failed attempt becomes a living example of His sovereignty and His protection over the chosen ones. It becomes increasingly clear that no weapon formed against the chosen will ever prosper. This isn't just a phrase, it's a spiritual truth, woven into the very fabric of the universe. The enemy's inability to succeed serves as a reminder to all: when God has set a path for someone, no force on earth can alter it. The chosen ones will rise, untouched by the storms their enemies try to create, and the failed attacks against them only amplify the testimony of God's enduring power. Life has a way of flipping the script, and for the chosen ones, this reversal of roles is nothing short of divine poetry. Those who once schemed, manipulated, and plotted against the righteous now find themselves utterly powerless. They believed they could control the destinies of others, that their influence and cunning would secure their victory, but in the end, their every attempt to control the future backfires. The very plans they set in motion to bring the chosen ones down now work against them, and their fate is no longer in their hands. Instead, it lies in the firm grip of divine justice. This shift is both swift and absolute. One moment, they are at the peak of their power, wielding control over others with ease. The next, all that power is stripped away. The walls they built around themselves, the empire of lies and manipulation they carefully crafted, crumble to dust. They are left exposed, vulnerable, and facing the consequences of their own actions. Everything they took for granted, status, wealth, influence, begins to slip through their fingers as they realize they can no longer control the forces at play. Meanwhile, the chosen ones, once the targets of their cruelty, rise steadily into the purpose they were always meant to fulfill. What their enemies tried so desperately to suppress only grows stronger, and what was meant to be a downfall becomes a testament to the power of divine protection and destiny. The chosen ones move forward with unwavering determination, stepping into the role they were destined for all along. This is not a moment of revenge or retaliation. It is justice in its purest form, a correction of the imbalance created by those who sought to harm the righteous. Divine justice is a force that cannot be denied, and in the end, it always prevails. The enemies of the chosen ones, blinded by their own pride and arrogance, learn too late that no matter how much power they possess or how much they manipulate the world around them, they cannot escape the consequences of their actions. The roles have reversed, and the chosen ones now walk in their true purpose, untouched and protected, while their enemies face the full weight of their misdeeds. God's silence can often feel unsettling, especially in moments of hardship or when we feel abandoned. But it is never a sign of inaction, it is a divine strategy. While enemies grow bolder, mistaking his quietness for absence. God is carefully observing, documenting every plot and every scheme. In his silence, he allows the enemy to reveal their true intentions, their arrogance, and their deceit. It's a deliberate setup, one that gives time for everything to unfold and for the truth to surface. As the enemies continue in their pursuit, believing that God is not paying attention, they underestimate the power of his patience. They think they are winning, that their manipulation and schemes will succeed without interference. But God is not idle. He is watching, knowing exactly when and how to strike. His silence creates the perfect conditions for justice to be delivered at the right moment. It's in this silence that he lays the groundwork for the most powerful move of all, one that will show the world his wisdom, his timing, and his authority. When God finally moves, it's swift and undeniable. His actions are not to be questioned or delayed. The moment he intervenes, everything changes. His silence, which once seemed like a pause, becomes the loudest answer, the ultimate response to those who thought they could operate without consequence. In that instant, his power is revealed in a way that leaves no room for doubt. What was once hidden is brought into the light, and those who plotted evil are forced to confront the full weight of divine justice. God's timing is perfect, and his wisdom unmatched. While the enemies of the righteous grow more brazen in their efforts, they fail to realize that their actions are only setting the stage for their own undoing. God's silence is not absence. It is the calm before the storm, a strategic pause that ensures his intervention is precisely what is needed. And when he acts, it will be decisive, leaving no question that his justice always prevails. The enemies of the chosen one set out with one goal: to destroy their lives. They believed that by attacking, undermining, and tearing them down, they would emerge victorious, and the chosen ones would fall into ruin. But what they failed to realize is that every act of malice they committed only served to amplify the testimony of the chosen ones. Instead of succeeding in their attempts to destroy, they ended up destroying their own legacies. With each plot, each lie, each attempt to bring harm, the enemies of the chosen ones unknowingly set the stage for their own downfall. What they saw as a way to break their opponents only highlighted the strength and resilience of those they sought to harm. Every trial, every attack, only strengthened the chosen ones' resolve and their connection to a higher purpose. The more the enemies pushed, the more the chosen ones rose, unshaken, untouched, and unbreakable. While the wicked believe they are in control, orchestrating their moves to cripple the chosen ones, they are actually unraveling their own futures. The consequences of their malicious actions catch up to them, leaving them with nothing but disgrace and ruin. They fade into obscurity, their names becoming synonymous with shame. The very legacies they tried to build on deceit, cruelty, and pride collapse under the weight of their own transgressions, and they are remembered not for their power or influence, but for their fall from grace. Meanwhile, the chosen ones, despite the attempts to bring them down, continue to rise. Their journey is one of triumph and resilience. They become beacons of hope, strength, and inspiration to others, proving that no force, no matter how powerful, can stand against the will of God. The chosen ones are remembered not for the struggles they faced, but for how they overcame them with grace, integrity, and unwavering faith. While their enemies are left in the shadows, their names forgotten in disgrace, the chosen ones shine brightly, their legacies defined by their victory over adversity. When God moves, it happens immediately, without hesitation. Those who once stood tall, full of arrogance and pride, can be brought down in an instant. The shift is not gradual, it is absolute, undeniable, and powerful. In one moment, everything can change. The people who thought they were untouchable, who believed their power, wealth, or status would shield them from any consequences, suddenly find themselves humbled. The moment God acts, all their perceived strength and influence vanish, leaving them exposed and vulnerable. This swift and decisive action serves as a humbling reminder to everyone that no matter how much human authority one possesses, it will never, ever outmatch divine authority. The power of God transcends all earthly power and influence. Those who operate in arrogance, thinking their position is unassailable, are reminded that they are not beyond the reach of God's justice. He is the ultimate authority, and when He decides it's time for action, nothing can stand in His way. For those who have wronged others or acted with pride, this divine intervention is a wake-up call. The moment of their downfall is often sudden and overwhelming, leaving them to grapple with the consequences of their actions. The pride they once held onto with such certainty crumbles beneath the weight of God's power. In that instant, it becomes clear to everyone that no matter how high someone has risen, they are still subject to a higher divine order. For the chosen ones, this is a reassurance that they are never alone. Even when it seems like the world is against them, they are under the protection of a higher power. No human force, no matter how mighty, can ever overpower the will of God. When God moves, His justice is swift and certain, and no arrogance, no matter how deeply rooted, can stand against it. This is a reminder that divine authority rules above all, and when it is time for God to act, His power will always prevail. The chosen ones are sustained by a divine anointing that empowers them to stand firm in the face of adversity. While others around them may falter or stumble, they remain unshaken, their purpose unwavering and intact. This anointing is not merely a blessing, it is a powerful force that shields them from harm, guiding their every step and ensuring they never lose sight of their mission. Their strength comes not from their own abilities, but from the divine protection that surrounds them. As the world may seek to knock them down, to thwart their progress, or to divert them from their path, the chosen ones are shielded by God's protection. It's a protection that guarantees no weapon, no matter how cleverly forged or how viciously aimed, will ever prosper against them. Those who rise against the chosen ones, whether through manipulation, lies, or direct attack, find that their efforts are futile. Every plot they devise, every attempt to harm or undermine, crumbles before the divine covering that surrounds the chosen. They are unable to touch what God has placed His hand upon. The enemies may grow frustrated, watching as their schemes fail one after another. They cannot comprehend why the chosen ones seem untouchable, why their attacks bounce off them as if they were protected by an invisible force. The truth is, they are. The divine anointing upon the chosen ones ensures they are not only protected, but also empowered to rise above every challenge. While the world may look at them and see vulnerability, what they fail to understand is that the strength of God's anointing keeps them grounded and firm, no matter what is thrown their way. For the chosen ones, this divine protection is not just a shield, but a purpose-driven force that keeps them focused on the bigger picture. They are not swayed by temporary setbacks or the attacks of the enemy. With God's anointing guiding them, they move forward with confidence, knowing that no weapon formed against them can succeed. It's a reminder that, when chosen by God, His power is the ultimate safeguard, and no one can thwart the plans He has laid out for them. For the wicked, imprisonment is far more than just physical confinement. It is a profound spiritual prison. While they may be locked behind bars or face the consequences of their actions in the earthly realm, what truly binds them is the crushing weight of their own conscience. With each passing day, they are forced to confront the deep regret and guilt that gnaw at their souls. The shame of their wrongdoings becomes an unshakable burden, one that no escape or external freedom can alleviate. Their actions have caught up with them, and now, in the solitude of their imprisonment, they are left to face the full impact of their decisions. This internal struggle is often more excruciating than any physical confinement. The wicked are trapped not just by their circumstances, but by the relentless accusations of their conscience. Every attempt to bury their guilt only brings it to the surface, forcing them to relive the harm they have caused. The weight of their sins becomes unbearable, and they are left in a state of torment, unable to find peace or solace. The prison of the mind is far more suffocating than any cell could ever be. Meanwhile, the chosen ones remain untouched by the attacks and malicious plots designed to bring them down. While their enemies may try to destroy them with lies, manipulation, or force, the chosen ones continue to thrive. They are not swayed by the schemes meant to tear them apart, and their purpose remains firm. Despite the attempts to derail them, the chosen ones grow stronger, propelled forward by divine protection and guidance. What was meant to harm them only serves to reveal their resilience and strength. As the wicked remain trapped in their spiritual prison, tormented by their guilt and regret, the chosen ones rise above the chaos. Their unwavering faith and divine protection shield them from the darkness that seeks to consume others. The chosen ones are not merely surviving, they are thriving, unaffected by the very attacks that were designed to destroy them. Their journey is one of triumph, as they continue to walk in their purpose, while those who sought to harm them are left to wrestle with the consequences of their own actions. God's wrath is not chaotic or random, it is precise and deliberate. He doesn't simply punish actions, he strikes at the very heart of sin, targeting the root cause of wrongdoing. God's justice is not a hasty reaction, but a carefully measured response designed to restore balance to the world. It is a correction, not just of actions, but of attitudes, intentions, and hearts. Every downfall of the wicked becomes a testimony to his immense power, reminding all that his divine order cannot be defied. His justice brings clarity to the world, showing that there is a divine system in place, one that holds all accountable to a higher standard. When the wicked experience their fall, it is not just a consequence of their actions, but a demonstration of God's divine hand at work. He doesn't merely allow them to be punished, he ensures that their pride and arrogance are brought to a humbling end. His wrath isn't aimed at just retribution, it is a lesson, teaching humility and the importance of living in alignment with His will. The downfall of those who defy God's law serves as a stark reminder that no one is beyond the reach of His justice. What they once believed was their strength, their power, their influence, all slips away under the weight of His correction. In contrast, the chosen ones don't just survive these attacks and challenges, they thrive. Despite the attempts to destroy them, they continue to grow, to flourish, and to fulfill their divine purpose. Their lives stand as living proof that no weapon formed against them can prosper. With God's protection surrounding them, they remain untouched by the harm that others try to impose upon them. Their resilience is a testament to the invincible force of divine protection and justice, showing the world that when God is with you, nothing can stand against you. The chosen ones are more than just survivors of the trials they face. They are conquerors, rising above adversity with grace and strength. Their lives are a declaration of God's unwavering justice and protection, a beacon to others that divine justice is real, and His authority is absolute. What do you think about divine justice? Is there a connection between the law of cause and effect, or karma, as we often hear, and the different expressions of divine justice? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below this video. If you learned something from this video, please subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel for more content on wisdom, spirituality, and personal growth. If this video resonated with you, share it with others who might benefit. If you have time, check out other videos on this channel. Until next time.